I want you to set the premise of the podcast to help the audience understand what is the importance of politics in business.
Politics in business. Yeah.
Because I constantly try to educate my audience about why politics is an integral part of business.
Yeah.
Usually in MBA schools, politics is not taught as an important subject of business. Whereas, and that is the reason why most people tell me that, Ganesh, you know what, please just make business case studies. Don't venture into political case studies because they see it as dirty politics.
Dirty politics.
So, as a political analyst,
Yeah.
can you tell me why is politics important for business?
Yeah.
With examples.
See, business, Ganesh, exists in an ecosystem, right? You have some resources, you create some product or service, you sell to someone, you take money, right? And then you are bound by multiple regulation. And who forms this regulation? Some government. It might be a municipal government or a state government or a central government or at some global order, right? So every business is existing in a government environment, in an ecosystem where government is the MyBap in most of the cases, or government's engagement, the ratio and the weightage of the government engagement can vary, right? If you're in the construction business, let's say, you are like very heavily dependent on the government, right?
Correct.
What is the cost of the commodities is decided, not decided, at least influenced by the government, right? You have to get your mapped pies by the government, right? So there, from multiple unicorns these days have a policy team which is nothing but mapping which government is coming, which government is pro which policy, and what is the government next policy which will affect my space, be it a Dream 11 or a Zomato has to deal with the FSI license, the food licenses, right? And a Dream 11 will deal with, like, is this a game of chance or a game of skill, and there'll be a lot of court cases, and what is the positioning of the government in there. Ola, Uber have to decide it is an aggregator app or what is a taxi, like can app is a taxi or a physical entity is a taxi, right? So and a Google and a Facebook or Instagram has to say who will decide that which content can go and who is the holder of the content. You as a content creator has a responsibility of the content, or the platform has a responsibility of the content. If something goes bad, if your content can create a riot in the public, right? Are you responsible or Facebook responsible, or you share a shared responsibility, right? So invariably government is involved.
You know, I often tell people that whenever the budget announcement happens, you should have a look at the biggest business leaders in the country. A lot of people might not have met such business leaders, but I have. And during the budget, if you call them, they'll say, I'll call you in the evening. I'm watching the budget.
I'm watching the budget.
And there's an entire team of analysts who constantly try and map as to how the announcement of the budget is going to affect them. And this is very easily reflected on the stock market also. The moment Gadkari ji went bullish on ethanol, sugar stocks went up. Now Modi ji announced rooftop solar, and there is a
Can you imagine?
there's
that?
a large segment of
1
companies.
crore rooftop solar houses
Yeah.
that to government buying, right?
So 1 crore rooftop solar, which means a large segment of companies will benefit because of which their stocks will eventually go up. So when you give them this association of politics and stocks, then they're very deeply interested because now they know that, you know, my money is going to double if I invest the right way. But they also
I'll give you a very interesting simple example, because we're shooting this in Mumbai, right? We used to hear कि movies में दाऊद का पैसा लगता है. Remember that old
Yeah.
saying? और काला पैसा लगता है. That black money is heavily invested. This is a 20-year thing. You know, and that has a structural problem with the government policy, because film was not industry. And if film is not industry, you can't write contracts.
film was not an industry.
Film was not industry 20 years back. Credit goes to Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Film was not an industry formally.
What are you saying?
Right? Yeah, film was not an industry. Right? So if film not an industry, you can write a contract which is honored in the court of law, because you are not an industry. I can invest in you. I can take an insurance instrument, because insurance instrument are only applicable on X number of industries, right? But film was not industry. As soon as film become industry, a formal reliance can become a big banner. Right? And a formal money started coming. And as formal money started coming, this Daud money I'm sure still the Daud money might be coming, but that become a fraction of the whole Bollywood, right? Versus which was a major portion of the Bollywood. So how a policy like putting film into the status of giving films or the entertainment industry, the status of an industry makes it very formal and very regularized, and a lot of new money can come in.
That is crazy. Hi guys, thank you so much for watching the Indian Business Podcast. If you find value in our work, please hit that subscribe button, because for you it might be a zero effort task, but for us that subscriber count is an important instrument to get great guests to our podcast and to make this podcast better for you. So if you find value, please subscribe.